Hello, my name is Clayton, and welcome to episode 132 of the Watch Dog podcast. I'm a professional dog runner and watch enthusiast talking to his pals about dogs and watches. How's everyone doing? Thank you so much for listening. You know, I appreciate it. Yes, hope you are all having a great week so far. I know this is just a few days after my last episode. We're going to do a little show housekeeping here before we get into my great conversation with Keith this week. I really want to get into a Tuesday or Wednesday release cycle. You're going to get this one on Wednesday. Ideally, I would like to do them on Tuesday. I have been releasing on the weekends, Sunday, sometimes Monday morning. So yes, want to get into the routine of doing a Tuesday or Wednesday release, be a little more consistent. So that's why you're getting this just a few days after the Tudor episode. And then hopefully, I'll record on the weekend and get them out on Tuesday morning for you. That would be the ideal release schedule in my mind anyway. So yes, going to do that. And we have a great conversation this week with my buddy Keith. Always so nice to have him on. So hey, let's get into it. Without further ado, here we go. Thank you so much for listening. My good friend is back, Mr. Keith. Thank you so much for taking the time. Welcome back. How are you, sir?
I am good. How are you?
Doing okay. Did you watch the Super Bowl or were you sort of uninterested?
I didn't care about either team, so I wasn't that interested, but I did watch like the first 3 quarters. And then because the game was so terrible, me and my wife, we got really into the card game Skippo. We were playing some Skippo and I just could hear it on in the background, and it was a good choice to switch to something else.
I think it's amazing that you and your wife play Skippo. I haven't played that game in so long. It's awesome.
Yeah, we keep like a per month tally of wins and losses. We're pretty serious about it.
Yeah, we used to play that and Uno. I think we got Skippo. I don't know. We got it as a gift. Maybe I got it as a birthday gift when I was a kid, and we played it a lot. And my wife's just not really into board games all that much or card games or anything like that. I wish she was, but I got at the holidays, I saw online there was like this magnetic chess, I think it was called. So it comes with a string and each person gets 10 magnets. And basically you set up the string in a circle and you start placing the magnets. And it, like, say I put a magnet down and like 4 other magnets attached to each other, you take all those pieces, and then the first person to have no magnets left wins. It's kind of fun.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've got her to play that a few times. But then, of course, deep down, I'm sort of worried about magnetizing my watch because they're pretty strong magnets. I mean, the Super Bowl, of course, New England. I live in New England. I live like 35 minutes from Gillette Stadium. So, of course, the fans have not been so cocky around here for the last 5 years because the Patriots have not been good. And now they're back in full force. I've always found this fan base, sorry to my New England listeners, but they can be a little obnoxious. And maybe that's just the bitter Lions fan in me that they've only had to wait 7 years for another Super Bowl appearance. And
Right.
I've been waiting my whole life and probably will continue to wait my life. But maybe I'm just jealous. But this Patriots team is a lot more likable, I think, than the Belichick Brady Patriots. They weren't expected to do too much. They were 4-13 last year. Really no stars on the team. Really no stars on either team, really. But so in that way, I thought it was kind of a refreshing Super Bowl. But I don't know. Yeah, I fell asleep.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
All right. Well, why don't we jump? I know our openings are usually very long. Why don't we just jump right into things before we get into the topic? What are you wearing tonight?
Oh, I keep forgetting to wear something on the podcast. I just am sitting at home. It's 8 p.m. right now. I'm usually not wearing a watch at home. If I am, it's my Casio. But lately I've been wearing my Seiko SPB 143 a lot. So I'll say that even though I haven't worn it today, I wore it yesterday.
I think you listen to the Worn and Wound podcast. I know there's a guy on there. I think it's a running gag now. Every wrist check when he's on, he does not wear a watch either. So maybe that's our thing too. You just don't wear one every time you're on now.
Yeah, well, yeah, I have heard that. And it's true, like sitting around at home, a lot of times I'm not wearing one, but I always make sure, like if I leave the house and I'm not wearing a watch, I feel naked without it. But at home, sitting around, yeah, a lot of times I just won't put it on.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I always wear a watch. I just kind of feel weird without one. Um, when I'm home, that's kind of when end up wearing my like nicer watches. So I think I take that really seriously. Like as soon as I get home, it's like, oh, take the G-Shock off and put on the whatever. Today it's the Tudor Black Bay Lagoon Blue. Still wearing that, fresh off recording that episode, the Tudor episode just yesterday or 2 days ago. So yeah, still wearing that. I may have made a move, and I'm not sure if some watches are leaving my collection yet. So I figured I would wear the watch I know that's not leaving. Because yeah, sometimes when you are debating whether you're going to sell a watch or not, you don't want to wear it just in case and like scratch it up. You feel like it's kind of not really yours anymore. So I know this one is still mine, so or half mine anyway.
Yeah, in those cases, I actually like to wear it to see if, like, okay, can I really part with this watch? You know what I
That's a
mean?
good point. That's a good point. Yeah, I'm afraid like oh god I'll bang it against a door jam or something and have to knock $500 off the price.
You'd be surprised how, and maybe we'll get into this, but how I feel like scratches don't hurt the value as much as maybe they should. Like
Yeah,
the difference between a pristine watch and a watch that's kind of scratched up pre-owned is not as big as I think it should be. There's not a huge delta in price.
yeah, I mean sometimes it depends. Private sales, I feel like it's more of a big deal than maybe
Mm,
like if you're buying from a dealer or something. I have dealt with private sales where you're kind of messaging or maybe sending video to somebody one on one like in a DM. Some people can get pretty uptight about about scratches and want to see every angle and I'm like, man, you can't even see this in most lighting. You really have to look for it. Like you have to shine the sun or a light directly on it. And even then I can barely see it. And sometimes in the pictures, it just seems a little more noticeable than it really does in just day-to-day wear. Um,
right.
yeah, I think I told the story. Maybe I told you privately. I don't know if I said it on the podcast or on with Bobby Legs, maybe on Watch Soup. I had contemplated selling the SNR 045 to somebody, and he reached out on Instagram. I posted a picture of it on Instagram, and he said, if you ever sell this, let me know. And when I thought about selling it, I let him know. And I showed him pictures, and he was very adverse to scratches. He wanted to know if it was in mint condition. And I don't know. I think it's a pretty good shape. It's made of titanium. So even though I think it does have like some sort of hardness coating, I'm not sure if it does actually. But anyway, the bracelet does have some marks. And I sent the pictures to him, and he's like, oh, I'm going to have to get this completely refurbished. And I was so appalled that he would do that to such a beautiful watch that I just stopped talking to him. I totally
Yeah,
ghosted him.
I don't want to sell to someone like that. Like I remember I had a bad eBay return experience where someone got the watch, they immediately wanted to return it because they didn't like how it fit, even though, there was a million YouTube videos on it. And in the return process, the bezel got scratched, whereas before it was pristine. And I remember selling it and someone was asking questions and he's like, oh, I don't care. Like, watches get scratches. Like he had no concern about that. I'm like, that's the person, I much prefer to sell to.
Yeah, I just couldn't stand the thought of this beautiful Zaratsu polished SNR 045 being brought to God knows who to get refurbished and then totally butchered. And it's titanium also. So I feel like you need somebody really skilled to refinish titanium. So, yep, it's staying here. It just wasn't a good home, wasn't a good fit. It's like rehoming your dog and realizing it's a bad situation. So, nope, the dog goes back with me. The watch stayed with me. Yeah.
I'm concerned about scratches, but I don't ask too many questions about it. To me, like put in the description of what you're selling it, what you feel the condition is, and post some pictures. And then if something looks way out of whack, maybe I'll ask about it. But then I'll just take a chance. if I like how they describe the condition in the pictures. I usually don't ask for a follow-up picture.
Yeah, it's so subjective though. Like I think it's in great shape. This guy sees the pictures and he thinks it's so bad it needs to be refurbished. Maybe the truth is somewhere in the middle. I feel like wearing it day to day, you can't even see those watches. In that instance, I really did have to shine it to a light to see the scratches. And it's just like on the bracelet and clasp. It's normal where the head of the watch is pretty much immaculate, you know? So, yeah, but everybody has, I think we've all probably bought watches used, and we're getting ahead of ourselves. We'll steer it back, but I'm sure we've all bought used watches where, you know, great condition, and then we get them in the mail and we're like, oh, this is in much worse shape than I thought it was based on pictures. So yeah, I guess everybody has their own definition of great condition.
Yeah, and I see that looking at watch listings. Chrono 24. If you have it as very good on Chrono 24, it better look very good. And people's definitions, just like if it's not completely banged up, that's very good to them. You know what I mean? So no one can agree on what those conditions mean.
Yeah, I've bought some watches and like, man, if this is your definition of excellent condition,
Oh yeah.
man. Well, yeah. So originally I did want to do a podcast on scratches. I saw a Facebook post about scratches that somebody had left on one of the pages I'm on. And it was interesting. And then I've been talking to you about sort of your dilemma. So I thought we would go kind of with your dilemma. And if you're listening to this, you saw the title of the podcast, and my scratch conversation can get mixed in like it already has. So why don't you tell everybody kind of what you're dealing with right now, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so I've been looking at a few watches, and my big dilemma is, should I buy new or should I buy pre-owned? And I think for maybe some of the examples I will give, I think people listening to this podcast, like watch enthusiasts, will immediately say buy a pre-owned. You could get such a discount on it. I don't think it's that cut and dry. So I wanted to talk through it to see, Clayton's thoughts and see what people think here. So I'm going to start with an example of a watch, and we'll go from there. So I'm not committing to anything here, just random watches I'll bring up, but like a Tudor Black Bay 58, a watch that's been sold a million times. There's a million posting on Chrono 24 and eBay of pre-owned versions. Tudor watches, most of them do not hold significant value versus the retail price, which keeps skyrocketing, especially in 2025. The price went up a lot. But for me, I think there's pros and cons, and I want to go over some pros of the reason I'm leaning towards possibly buying it new. Okay, so for one, as we've been talking about, I don't like scratches on watches. Now, obviously, like it comes with the territory of wearing a watch, but if someone's gonna mess up the watch, I want it to be me. So, and I'm very careful with watches. That doesn't mean I don't ever scratch them, but I try and be careful with watches. There's people that they'll buy a watch and the next day you could see the desk diving scrapes on the clasp. I would never do that.
That's
I would
me.
never just
That's
set my
me.
clasp down on the desk. That's you?
Oh yeah. I can enjoy. Well, I don't really sit at a desk, but I mean, I wear without a care, even if it's a brand new watch. I just wear it. So I'm not somebody who really. I guess I do scratch up clasps, but not. I don't work at a computer, so.
Yeah. Well, I was actually listening to Devin Pennypacker has a new podcast now called Time Well Spent.
Yeah, I listened to it.
He was saying that if let's say he's at a bar and someone sits down to him next to a bar who's wearing a watch, he said, if your watch isn't, scratched up, then I know that I wouldn't be friends with you. Like for him, it's like, I guess it's, he wears his watches. He doesn't care about that. And I think it's a weird reason.
Yeah, that's a little harsh. I heard that too.
Like some people are just more careful than other people. That's okay too.
Yeah. I see. I cannot enjoy a watch if I have to baby it. That just seems like work. And I don't know, I just would rather wear it and forget it's on and just every once in a while look at it. So, yeah, I really like, I'm getting a new watch in the mail tomorrow, and I will probably, and it's in really good shape, used, pre-owned. We'll get into it. But yeah, I'll probably just put it on and wear it. And, not really think about scratches. I don't know. I really need it to be a part of me. And if I'm, somebody said or used to say, wear the watch, don't let the watch wear you. And I kind of take that to heart. And I think I'd still be friends with you even if you don't like scratches. But
No,
yeah, I heard that.
like,
That was a little harsh.
like anything I have, I am the same way with clothes. Well, it doesn't matter. Like, I just don't wear stuff hard. I'm not, I don't know, working outside, or I don't know what people are doing to scratch up their watches. Like, I can make even cheaper clothes last for a long time because I just don't wear stuff hard, But furniture I can make last for a long time because I'm just careful with everything. So I think that's just how I am, not just with watches, but with everything in my life, and it just kind of carries over into watches. Not that I can't handle something looking worn; it just doesn't look worn because I just don't wear it that way. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I'm the opposite. I'm a bull in a china shop. I come
Oh,
in,
no,
make
no.
a mess. Everything's a mess. Everything. With my job, with just my nature. I don't know if it's the ADHD or what it is, but yeah, I rarely leave anything like I found it. I'm a tornado.
But keep in mind, so not just the watches may have scratches. Okay, that's one thing to consider. But a lot of dealers will clean up a watch before, clean up, refinish, repolish, rebrush, whatever it is. A lot of dealers will do that before they sell it because obviously it sells easier when it looks pristine. But at the same time, I'm looking at it being like, that's not the finishing from the company. Like,
Right.
if I'm not seeing Zeratsu polishing, what's the point of buying a Grand Seiko? And a lot of dealers, now obviously people can get them refinished themselves and then later sell to a dealer. You can't really account for that. But dealers, they're not upfront about it. They don't say, I've seen some people on eBay say this, but most people don't say, we refinish the watch, we polish it up for you. It's kind of left to you to ask about it. Like, when I went to an AD close to here, I actually tried on a Black Bay 58 and I'm like, oh, do you guys refinish your watches? Oh yeah, we'll clean them up. And it's like, oh, I don't want to buy it. I'd rather have something a little scratched up than refinished by a dealer because I'm just not seeing. I can't comment on the brushing on the bracelet by that company because I'm not. That's what I'm not seeing. I'm seeing some random person at an AD taking whatever to it to brush it out. Does that bother you at all?
Yes, that does. I think we talked about this privately, perhaps. I was interested in a watch from a well-known secondary market dealer, and I asked them if it had been polished, and he said yes, lightly refinished, and immediately like, nope, sorry, not interested. So yeah, it makes me not want to buy anything from a secondary market dealer unless it says unworn. Because I don't know. I really like things to be left alone. Like, I'm not big into modding. It goes to all that kind of stuff. Like, I'd rather you not polish the watch. I like things to be worn and lived in. I usually like to make the scratches myself. But, again, even when you get a brand new watch, I mean, even me who likes to scratch things, I look at that first scratch like it stings a little. I'd be lying if I said it didn't. I just don't let it bother me, and I still continue to wear it without a care. But so sometimes I remember my first Grand Seiko I bought from Topper pre-owned, and it had some scratches on it. It's like, oh, cool. The polishing's already scratched. I can just wear it. No problem. So I think that's a benefit to buying pre-owned. It's like it takes that hurt of that first good scratch, especially on something like a Zeratsu polished Grand Seiko, where you really notice it.
Yeah, like I sent you a listing. It was a two-tone Aquaterra on Chrono 24 that looked beautiful, and it was a great price too. And I look at it and like, there's no way. unless someone just bought it and kept it in a box for years because it was an Aquaterra that's no longer being produced, there's no way though that watch, if it was worn, looks that way. It's just, with the, especially with the gold on it. Now, your recent purchase, it seems like someone literally just bought it and put it and never wore it. Someone just that buys a lot of watches. The watch was recently released, so it hasn't been around for a long time. Like that one, you could be confident that it wasn't worn, and especially because you got it from Toppers, and Toppers does not refinish watches. Like you could tell looking at watches on there, they don't even clean them up. Like there's still fresh, wrist cheese on those watches sometimes.
on rubber straps, Toppers, especially.
Maybe, don't zoom in on the watches on Toppers. But I like that. That's a pro.
I love that.
That's why I like going on Toppers, because I know however it is they got the watch, they just left it that way and they're selling it.
Yeah. And also, it turns out I know the person who owned the watch I bought. We're being really cryptic here. And I may talk about it later, but so it turns out I know in a roundabout way the person who this watch belonged to before me, and they take very good care of their stuff, so I'm really excited. I know it's going to be pristine, and I think it was like 95% on Topper, and they under promise, I think, so it's probably going to be close to 100%, I think.
95% on Toppers is 100%.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. The Black Bay 58, is that the watch you're thinking about right now?
That's one of the watches for sure, yeah. I've been thinking about that since 2018.
Yeah.
So 8 years later, here we are. I wanted to wait. I said the price was too low. I need to wait for them to really jack up the price before I consider buying one. But
now the secondary price might go up because retail's gone up. So
yeah, you used to be able to find them secondary for like $2,500. Good luck finding a decent one under $3 now, even if that. Now it's like 32, 34, 35. It's more in that range.
Man, you missed your chance.
No, it's as long as it's still being made, I haven't missed my chance. I missed my chance at a lower price. The way I try and tell myself that, like, I could more easily afford the price today as I could the price a few years ago. It's because you build wealth over time,
right?
So that's the way I make myself feel a little better. But I actually asked a friend about this, what we were talking about, the finishing, and he said watches are imperfect. So don't let something like that bother you. Maybe you buy it new and you scratch it up, and then you send it in for service, and a lot of times you send a watch in for service and it comes back not as pristine as you sent it. That's the way watches kind of are. Don't expect perfection. And I think it's a good way to looking at it. It's very Zen.
Yes.
I said, I hope I am that Zen one day.
Yeah. I mean, if and when the time comes for me to send my Air King in, I don't want them to touch I don't want them to polish it. I don't want them to refinish it at all. As is. Leave it as is. And if it came back fully polished, if it by mistake or something, I'd be pretty disappointed, I think, actually. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't sell the watch or anything, but I would be kind of bummed out. I that would really bother me. I guess I'd get over it, but yeah, I don't know. That kind of thing bothers me more than like putting a big gouge on it or something. I'd rather be able to do that. I fell in that watch last year hiking, and it does have some marks now. I don't know. I feel like that's even more mine now. So,
okay, well, we'll move to the other pro of buying new.
Okay.
After we talked about finishing for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
The other pro, which you kind of mentioned just there, warranty.
Yes.
Warranty starts when you buy that watch. I buy a pre-owned Black Bay 58 from 2019. There's no warranty. Whatever happens, it's up to the Lord after that. So, and it's money coming out of my pocket if I have to send it in for some reason. So the warranty is a pro, especially nowadays when dealers or brands, I should say, give, very hefty warranties. I don't have them memorized from all the brands, but now it's like 5 years.
I have an 8-year on my Breitling.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yep.
See, that's a huge pro.
If you buy Cartier, I think maybe at the boutique or the authorized dealer, I think they'll give you 8 years. My friend bought a Santos at a boutique at an airport in Australia and got 8 years. And so he was contemplating buying the Santos. I've told this story on the podcast before. He was contemplating buying it pre-owned, and he actually walked out of the store, and his wife like, well, what's the difference in price? And he said, oh, about $1,000. She's like, buy it here. Stupid. You get a warranty. So he did.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's something I wanted to touch on. What is the price difference where it's like a no-brainer, you have to buy a pre-owned? It's different for everyone.
The watch I just bought, no brainer, because I got almost, should I just say the watch?
Well, you got the watch below retail, right?
Significantly.
And it's not a watch you can even buy new because it's a limited edition.
Yeah, there might be actually looked it up, and you can buy it new from, I think, Watches of Switzerland. You can still buy it. So
yeah, do you want to say the watch so we could?
Yeah, I'm being cryptic. So I don't know if any of you listened to the episode Keith and I did where we did our power rankings of the watch releases from 2025. And the number 5 slot for me was the Girard Perregaux Laureato 50. And it retailed for 28 something $1,000. So pipe dream watch, but two-tone. I said it was like a cool grandpa watch. Awesome. I loved it. And one came up on Topper last week for significantly under retail, and I made it happen. Most expensive watch I've ever bought. Probably have to sell some things, but yeah, in that case, that buying used was absolute no-brainer because big chunk off of retail.
Yeah, I would say any Laureato is maybe a good premium buy.
Yeah.
Because of the drastic decrease. If the difference is like $1,000, yeah, I mean, why not buy it new and nice and fresh, and you know the history of it, and you get the warranty. When it gets the difference gets between like 2, 3, 4, like where's the threshold? It's different for everyone, but it's hard to justify like a brand new like Grand Seiko, oh my God, white birch, when you could get it for like $4,000 less pre-owned. You know what I mean? That's when it starts to make less and less sense to buy it new.
Grand Seiko is a brand that I did buy one brand new, and that's like buying a brand new car. I'll never buy a brand new car again. I don't think I'll ever buy a brand new Grand Seiko again. That's a used brand for me, even though it might be a little scratched up and that polishing looks so good. No, I've actually bought 2 Grand Seiko brand new, actually. In both cases, I would agree that I will only buy used now.
Yeah, I bought a new quartz GMT SPGN 003. I sold it for like $1,000 less. That wasn't too bad. You know, I got to see the lovely Grand Seiko finishing on that watch. And I was actually talking to someone, and he said he knows of an AD or a dealer, I should say, that if they get in a Grand Seiko and it needs finishing, they'll send it to Grand Seiko. So because of that, they don't like to take in Grand Seikos. But I'm sure other, ADs or dealers will just finish it up. I don't know.
I know it's so touchy because it's just exquisitely done. And I don't know, you need to have real confidence in your abilities to go near that. If anybody listening has not seen one in person, I mean, they're beautifully polished.
Yeah, if I bought a new Rolex, I would be less concerned about banging that up. One, you could send it back to Rolex and get a refinish, but also there's so many businesses out there that specialize in refinishing Rolex that it's almost like you can make it new if you want to. Just the fact that I know that one day I can do that if I wanted to is enough to just like relax about it.
Yeah. Yeah. If I got to a point where my Air King had so many dings and scratches where when I do get service, like, you know what? Clean it up, make it look brand new. Because I know I'm not going to sell that watch. That's really a keeper. So I don't really care about resale value on it. So, that's another thing we can talk about. Polishing, especially a botch job, refinishing, that hurts the resale value. Isn't it weird we worry about condition so much, but then with expensive watches, they want everything in all original condition.
Right.
Yeah, it's sort of confusing. Like, which one is it?
Well, okay. Well, sure. Maybe I can move on to my next pro of buying new. Building a relationship or just goodwill towards that business. So, like many people do, I like to go out, I like to look at watches. It would be nice to go out and look at watches knowing I had bought something from that dealer at some point, so I feel less bad taking up their time. I will say I take up as little time as a salesperson as possible. I know what I want to look at when I go in. I try in a couple watches. I don't dilly-dally. I don't talk forever. I try stuff on. I get out of their hair because I always feel like I'm taking up their time and maybe someone more serious is looking, although I am seriously looking, so I could be that person. And most just want to be like, hey, don't worry about it. I'm here. I got to work anyways. Might as well just, chat it up and help you look at what you want to look at. So it'd be nice. I go into, let's say, two to three main places that tend to have a lot of brands. And I've bought something from two out of those three, but it would be nice to just, goodwill and to build a relationship, which a lot of people talk about. I know many people who have bought a lot of watches, a lot, from the most random places, eBay, able to go into a place here, they got a good deal over there. And I'm talking maybe 100+ watches. Imagine if they would have bought many of those from the same store and what kind of relationship they would have with that store.
Man.
They could get any watch they want, any limited edition, any hard to get watch.
Le Mans,
They would have
Daytona.
just focused.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. If they would have focused their purchases more on just like a small number of authorized dealers, what kind of relationship they'd have today instead of buying willy-nilly from all over the place.
Yeah.
So I'm not that person. I am not super concerned with building a relationship. I don't buy enough to build a relationship. I'm not clamoring for hard to get watches. So it's less important to me. But it'd be nice to just be like, oh yeah, I was here, whatever. I'm wearing the watch that I bought from you. I don't feel as bad taking up your time, if that makes sense.
I have two really good relationships with authorized dealers, with contacts I have at those authorized dealers. And I think, you could just get like a new watch geek friend. Like I text and email both of them just talking about watches, which is fun. We all like to have more watch friends. And they take care of you beyond like getting on the Rolex list or whatever. They'll take care of you. If you have an issue, they'll expedite the process. They might go the extra mile if you've spent a lot of money with them, or just if they like you, if you're a friend. Like I consider both of them friends. So I remember from my Rolex authorized dealer, which is in another state, which is in New Jersey, because I bought it on vacation, and then her and I just struck up a friendship, and she got me my Air King. And so I bought the Aerospace Breitling Orbiter B70, I think it was called, Aerospace, a couple years ago. It was a brand new movement. It was like celebrating that 25th anniversary of that balloon voyage, and it actually had like a piece of the balloon in the case back. That movement was brand new. It had issues. All of them almost had issues and had to be sent back. My pushers didn't work. It just, the minute hand would wobble and move. It was off. And I sent it back, and she said, all right, this is going to be gone a long time. I'm so sorry. She emailed me out of the blue one day and said, listen, I don't feel comfortable having you wait this long for a brand new watch, so I'm going to give you a refund if you want it. And I was like, wow. I just don't think, if I didn't have a relationship with her, like she would offer something like that, because it was literally like a couple months after I bought the watch. So I think that kind of thing is really a good reason to relationship build. I know it sounds kind of lame, like, oh, you're it's almost like they're doing you a favor by selling you an expensive watch, but it does have its advantages.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And a side note, I think it's I think it's lame that when you buy a watch and there's something wrong, like right after you buy it, maybe even the next couple of days, they have to, it's like it's your watch now and they have to send it in and you have to wait for it. It's like, no, you sold me a bad watch. You take it back and give me a different one.
That happened another time with another authorized dealer. Got a bad watch brand new, right when I got it in the mail. There was something wrong with it. They replaced it. So again, not sure she would have done that for me if I weren't a good customer and a good friend of hers, but she did. So again, relationship building can be a good thing. I mean, think about it in other aspects. I have customers that have been with me a long time. I'm more likely to bend over backwards for them than maybe somebody that I don't know that well, or that, hasn't spent a lot of money with me. So it goes a long way, not only in watches, in every relationship. Your dry cleaner you've been going to for a long time.
Right.
You need something right away, expedited. You know what? You've been a customer of mine for 10 years. I'm going to make sure you get this in an hour or something. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, I think it just happens if you're a good, loyal customer at a restaurant. You might get the better table if you have a special anniversary dinner or something, even on a busy Friday night. It goes a long way, relationship building, not only in watches.
Oh, yeah, for sure. My mechanic I've been going to since I was 16. He'll sometimes fix stuff and not even charge me if it wasn't that big of a deal. Because he knows when something big happens, he's also getting it. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Or even the cafeteria at work, like I don't say anything when I walk in. They know what I want. They make it for me. They know what I like.
Yeah. I go into my running shoe store and Patrick, the manager, if he's working, he sees me and he knows exactly I want Hoka Clifton size 10. And that's what you get. He just, Hoka's, and he'll have somebody get him or he'll get him because he knows I'm going to buy every pair of running shoes there. Yeah, sometimes he'll give me like a discount just for being a good customer. Makes you feel good and makes you go back. Of course, I'm going to go back anyway. But yeah, it's I don't know. It feels good to be appreciated as a customer.
Yeah, I actually just found out the place I buy my running shoes from. It was independent local shop. I've probably bought like 10 pairs of Brooks from them and they just went out of business.
Oh,
so all that down the drain.
Yeah.
All my Brooks couldn't keep them afloat,
I actually saw online today a similar situation on a watch group. There was a guy who had been schmoozing with his tutor AD and had spent money there. He wanted the was it turquoise chronograph? I don't know what that one's called. I forget. Is that the flamingo? Or maybe that's the pink one, I guess. But that turquoise Tudor chronograph that's I talked about in the last episode that's still trading above retail. He had been kind of schmoozing and working towards getting one. He was on the list for one. They said the next one that comes in is yours. And then the boutique or AD closed. So now he has to start, building a relationship all over again with another tutor AD. So yeah, that can happen. That stinks.
Yeah, that really sucks.
Or it can happen too if your sales associate leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's kind of all down the drain too. Even though you have the spend history there, you had a personal relationship with somebody who was kind of looking out for you.
Right. Yeah, I've seen that happen. I've heard of that happening at least.
But yeah, I think real friendships, not always, but because they know you want something and they know why you're maybe reaching out all the time or coming in all the time. They know. But I think real friendships can brew out of that and then they will take care of you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and another pro, the history of the watch. So again, if it's been worked on, if it hasn't been worked on. I could think of an example of someone I know bought an Explorer 2, and it was kind of like something was wrong with it. He bought the pre-owned. Something was wrong with it. He took it to his watch guy, and there was like a botched job on the last guy that worked on it. I've seen, I was looking on Reddit just recently, and someone was having a problem with their watch, and they're like, I don't want to deal with sending it to the brand. I'm just going to sell it. Hopefully that person disclosed that the date wheel was kind of having issues, but they could or they could not. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of people, will sometimes get rid of a watch because of an issue they're having with it that they don't want to deal with anymore, and they'll just pass it on to the next person. So again, that's a possibility. Now, we'll go over maybe quickly like best and worst watches to buy pre-owned, but if it's like a $200 Seiko, whoop-de-doo. If it's a Rolex, that's a problem. You know what I mean? Anything can be fixed, I guess, but maybe not with some watches. So yeah, you're possibly buying someone else's problem.
Yeah,
And,
I think
have you ever bought a watch pre-owned and had an issue with it? And what did you do?
I am trying to think if I had like a major issue. I think yes, from a friend, and he wasn't aware, but the winding was terrible, and it did end up having an issue, and I had to bring it to my watchmaker, who's deceased now, but he fixed it, no problem. And then my friend felt really bad. So it was, yeah, it's almost kind of like never work with your friends or never hire your friends or something. Maybe buying a watch from a friend and then realizing it has an issue. Yeah, immediately he said he never noticed it. I believe him, but yeah, winding it, I immediately could tell there was an issue, and I forget what the issue was now. This was quite a while ago, but and then I remember I bought a watch one time, and the dive bezel was completely stuck. Like there was literally like he spilled something sticky like Coke on it or something. And I was like, did you realize this bezel doesn't even move? And he's like, oh no, I didn't actually. And so I just washed it and let it sit in water for like an hour. Then it turned fine. But I was like, geez, man, if I'm selling somebody a watch, I make sure the bezel moves perfectly and everything's a little cleaned up. I can't imagine just throwing it in a box after I spilled something on it. Maybe he didn't realize he spilled something on it, but I don't know. I'm always hyper aware if I spill something on my watch.
Yeah, I mean, what does this guy never turn a bezel?
Right.
I don't get that.
What kind of watch collector is this guy?
Oh, those turn? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
My friend Dirk, who's I'm sorry, my friend Dirk, who's been on the podcast before, never turns his bezels ever. He says he just doesn't care. Yeah.
At least the time walks my bezels. That's what I do a lot.
Yeah. Yep. Me too. I did that tonight.
So yeah, that's my list of pros. I can only think of one con. That's price. So there's a lot of pros from buying from an authorized dealer, which I will admit, I have not bought from an authorized dealer since 2021. So it's been 5 years. It was towards the end of 21, I guess. So it's been like, let's say 4 years, 4.5 years. So it's been a long time. Now I bought some watches new, but like from great dealers.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to buy from an AD again. But yeah, when I think of watches, best watches to buy new, obviously watches that hold their value, Rolex, Patek, whatever, all those brands.
Yeah.
Most don't hold value, but then what kind of hit are you taking? Are you taking $1,000 hit? Are you taking a $5,000 hit? That's a big. Now, if it's a Seiko, a lower price Seiko, I don't mind buying gray, or some random person on eBay that says it's new. That's fine with me. Worst comes to worst, I spent $500 because like the price delta. Like I bought the solar speed timer as the Seiko speed timer. I don't know how much that was going for new, $700 or something, MSRP. I think I bought it for less than 400. So I mean that's a huge discount, and it's still getting a new watch. And worst comes to worst, maybe if it's complete botch job, which how can it be? It's a quartz watch, but let's just say it is. Okay, well, I'm not out that much money. Like that's not a big deal to me. But where's the line? And that's what I'm trying to figure out. I don't have all the answers. You know what I mean?
And I think my advice to you was maybe, and I do this too. We all do it, and maybe we shouldn't as much. Like maybe we just shouldn't think about things in terms of resale value so much. It's still a watch that we're supposed to enjoy and wear, and I don't know, maybe that takes away from the whole experience if we just think of it as dollars and cents, if that makes sense. Like I don't know, if you plan on keeping this watch for a long time, even like 10, 15 years, then if you buy it new, that's a great deal. You got
I
a
would
watch.
say even 5 years. If you're
Yeah.
planning to keep something, and you know, I buy watches with the intent to keep for a long time. Now, sometimes it doesn't happen, but I'm not a flipper. I don't go in and out of watches a lot. So I really try and decide on something I think I'm going to keep for a long time. And the longer I keep it, the more I wear it, the less the price difference matters to me.
And I think you will keep the Black Bay 58 for a long time. So I think it's a no-brainer to buy a brand new. That would be my advice to you, my personal opinion. I just think it's one of those watches, like all the things you said. You know the history of the watch because you bought it brand new. Maybe it gets you closer to a Rolex if that's something you want. Maybe you, I don't know, strike up a conversation with the sales guy and you text each other now and you have a new watch friend. Like, I don't know. I think it just makes a lot of sense to buy this watch brand new, even though the price has gone up and maybe it's not the best value. What is the new retail price of the Black Bay 58 in 2026, by the way?
I think it's 47 something.
Oh man, yeah, that's a lot. But
Now my memory could be
no, I'm
wrong.
just kidding.
My memory could be wrong. I could have sworn I looked at it in September and it was like 42 or 43. And then in October, there was a price increase. And the beginning of the year, there was a price increase. So it's increased like $500 in the last just 4 or 5 months, which is wild.
Yeah. I know our Lagoon Blue went up $400. Yep.
And it's not only watches, but Omega has been doing the same thing. I think of them. Patek actually really went up, and I guess they announced they're lowering their price now because of the lower tariff. I was hoping for Tudor, Omega, and Rolex or whoever to jump on board. It doesn't seem like they're jumping on board.
I don't mind if they don't lower, just don't raise again. Like maybe take it easy this year, especially Omega. Like, oh, holy smokes. But yeah, Tudor is pretty impressive too now. So, geez, yeah, just take a break on the price hikes this year.
Yeah, I want to say, I could be misremembering. I think Tudor and Omega, one of those two or both of them, raised prices in like May and then again in October. And then again I thought that, maybe because they raised prices twice last year and the tariff was lowered, they'll take it easy at the beginning of the year. It doesn't seem like they really took it easy. No one's taking it easy anymore. Take it easy, everyone. But because I buy so few watches, I don't pay a flipper's tax like everyone else is, meaning I have more money saved up to buy possibly new if I wanted to go that route. And we're using the Black Bay 58 as an example. It's actually the beginning of the year. I've actually looked back. I think I've done it 4 years in a row or 3 years in a row. I come up with a list of possibilities of a narrowed down list of watches I'm really thinking about for that year. Now, it could change when I go look at them again. It could change when something new is announced. But I really try and think of all the watches out there right now, what has my interest the most, and let's focus on these. So it helps that I'm not going to be willy-nilly buying watches. I really trying to make a thoughtful purchase. Some would say too thoughtful. Some would say I should maybe pull the trigger, as I say, a little more often. But I don't agree with that. I'm fine with. I have basically a 3-watch collection right now. I'm fine flipping out of those, and whenever I add a new one is when I add a new one. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And I think I'm really trying to build a collection I really love just over the long run. I'm really trying to focus on that.
No, it's something to be admired, especially I would not take back all the watches I've bought because I think it gives me a foundation of experience to have a podcast and just like, oh yeah, I've owned a bunch of Tudors. Let's do a Tudor podcast. Or, oh yeah, I've owned a bunch of Seikos. Let's do a Seiko podcast. Like that's valuable. But at the same time, I really admire your thoughtful approach where you're really taking the slow road to having an awesome collection of watches that you will wear and keep for a long time. Like there's so many ways to do the hobby, and that's one of the things I think is so interesting. Like you and I know so many other collectors, and everybody does it differently. And sometimes we question it, but it's okay. That's their, I hate the word journey, but it's their journey, right? So, I mean, everybody does it differently. They could just look at the way we're doing it and question a bunch of things too. So
Yeah. I've seen some journeys that I've been questioning a lot lately, but I know I do try and keep in mind that everyone does things differently, and just because I do things one way doesn't mean it's not good for someone else. But I do, sometimes it's just fun to be like, what is that person doing? And especially if you're putting that on YouTube, you gotta open yourself up for criticism a little bit.
Exactly.
I'm opening up myself for criticism being on here, so that's fine.
And a lot of times we will say things and then do the complete opposite 3 weeks later, just because things change. There's new watch releases that totally make you rethink everything, rethink your collection. Even watches you love might be sacrificial lambs in order to obtain this new shiny thing. So yeah, when you have a podcast where people can go back and say, well, in episode 117, you said you'd keep this watch forever, and then it was sold by episode 123. Like, yeah, I know.
I mean, there's even brands I've been really critical of that I'm like, want one of their watches now. But we were even talking like last week or something. I went from, in like a day or two, I'm never buying a Christopher Ward to being like, I love this Christopher Ward, maybe I'll buy
it. Yeah, we both kind of said that. And then, Adrian, the Bark and Jack Christopher Ward collaboration, ultimately, it's a really cool watch. But I think the branding, I like Adrian. He seems like a nice guy. I've watched his channel ever since I've been in the hobby, so nothing against him. But I don't think I want a Bark and Jack branded dial on a watch. I don't feel that passionately about it.
That watch specifically just made me realize how much I like the unlimited, the regular gray version. And it doesn't help. I follow that darn Beans and Bezels on Instagram, and he has that watch. He takes such great picture. Sometimes you got to stay away from great pictures of watches because it just makes you want it a lot more.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, he actually wears that watch quite a bit, it seems, and he takes great pictures of that Lumiere.
See, I like the bezel on the Adrian version, but I want like the orange one. If the orange one had that bezel, the fully graduated bezel, oh baby, that would probably be my first Christopher Ward.
We'll see what Watch Gecko comes out with.
Right? Yeah, I know they're doing oh man, yeah. It's interesting, and this was actually another podcast idea I had, and we're kind of switching gears here, but it's interesting now how Christopher Ward is almost like the new Oris. I remember like 5 years ago, all the YouTubers were talking about Oris. VJ Geronimo was on a bunch of podcasts. And it's like they have totally been cast aside. I don't think they maybe are. I don't know if they are paying. You could argue if they were paying content creators or not, but I feel like Christopher Ward has really stepped into that now. And I think maybe Mike Pearson, he's such a dynamic character and he's a great brand spokesman. So I think having him is a real asset for Christopher Ward. He was on the Gray NATO podcast a couple weeks ago. He seems just like a magnetic, cool guy. When he was with Zodiac was a hot brand there for a while, and now you hear nothing from Zodiac since he left. So yeah, it's interesting now how kind of Christopher Ward is the new hot YouTuber brand, where Adrian and Britt and Watch Chris are all just kind of wouldn't say shilling for Christopher Ward, but yeah, they're all talking about it. It's got to be something in it for him.
Yeah, and I mean, it's hard to deny the quality of their watches. I've been to many, many windups, and it's always the most crowded table, and it's hard to deny how great their watches are, I must say. And when I'm a big fan of the TAG Aqua Racer Solargraph, the titanium one.
Mm-hmm.
When you compare that for solar quartz for, a blasted case and bracelet, that's $3,500, and you look at what Christopher Ward's doing with the Lumiere for $2,400, I think it is. I mean, that's and obviously TAG, you get a discount. All that you could buy it pre-owned, of course. Although you could do the same thing with Christopher Ward. So there, you could finagle some things, but it's hard to deny the quality for what you're paying Christopher Ward.
Yeah, for sure. It to me, it's the brand. I don't know. Something about the brand, I don't know if it turns me off as much as it used to, but still, it's just like, it's not a brand I want to drop big money on. I just have this hang up about the brand, not sure what they stand for. Seems like they just throw shit at the wall and whatever sticks. Like, oh, we'll do an integrated bracelet now. Oh, we'll do the Belcanto. Kind of looks like the latest trend in independent watchmaking. Let's try that.
Yeah, but it's all working.
I know it is all working.
It's all like,
so,
yeah,
but I'm not
can't
sure it
blame 'em.
works for me. I don't know if it works for me. I applaud it. I'm sure the watches are awesome. Like, it's not you, it's me with Christopher Ward. It's just something I have not been able to get like super excited about that brand enough to buy one. But yeah, they do an orange Lumiere with that fully graduated bezel. I'd be considering it. Tag is a great example of a brand you should probably buy used.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Even though
Especially a quartz watch.
Oh yeah. Used quartz Tag is the way to go. Don't unless you're getting a really hefty discount. Those F1s are cool, but yeah, still. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a
wonder what
bunch of
kind of
tags I
discount.
like now, but yeah.
What they did give as discounts? I have a tag. There's a tag dealer like 5 minutes from my house, and it'd be so nice to just go walk in there and buy a nice new watch. But I don't think a guy would do that for that watch.
The last time I went into my authorized dealer in New Jersey, they had the Skipper. And I tried it on, loved it. And I think she said 25% out the door if you want it. I think it was 25. And I love that. I said no, but that's a pretty good watch. I'd say that's a fairly good deal. But yeah, a lot of times Tag is a brand definitely get at a hefty discount or something you buy from Joma Shop or something.
Or again, if you're gonna keep it for forever,
then
doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, it also, say you buy the Black Bay 58 new, you don't feel great about paying $4,700 for it, but you're keeping it for, like you said, 5 years even. And then if you decide to sell it in 5 years, that $4,700 you spent on it is long gone, pal. See you later. That's been gone forever. So anything liquid you get is still like money in your account, better than a watch that you're not wearing and just sitting collecting dust in your watch box. So,
well, not only is that long gone, but that retail price of that watch is also long gone.
Right.
In the last 5
Hell, by that time
So
you might be
maybe-
able to get $4,700 for it used.
Or at least you could trade it in for maybe, well, at the rate things are going now, that watch will be 10 grand in no time. So,
Right.
you trade it in for 4 grand or something. You really haven't spent much on it. The longer you keep a watch, the more you get in. But I'm hoping, it's the 100-year supposedly Tudor anniversary. Well, can't they put a T-fit clasp in that watch? Have they run out of stock? Again, Christopher Ward, they put a micro adjust on the 12, and when the question was asked, "Oh, are all the 12s going to have it?" As soon as we sell through the stock we have. That's what they said.
Yeah.
They're just upfront about it. Why can't Tudor do the same thing? Or maybe they have a ton of stock of Black Bay blue and black Bay 58 sitting around, and they can't put that T-fit clasp on it yet. But what are you waiting for? Let's go.
I know it is
Same
odd.
with Omega. They put the micro adjust on that black Aquaterra. I forget what the black dial is. It's not coming to me, but
Yeah.
why can't you put it on the white silver one that I like?
It is weird.
I
The very first T-fit clasp, the introduction of it was on the bronze Black Bay 58. So if they did that in bronze, why can't they just manufacture and just do it on all the new blues and blacks that come out? It's on the
Pelagos. It's on the Ranger. It's on the new Black Bay 58s.
Yeah, it's on the GMT, Black Bay 58 GMT. Yeah, I don't get it either.
I mean, that red Black Bay 50, I think it's 51.
Oh, yeah.
Now.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
there'll
burgundy.
be a price increase.
Yep.
But it might be worth it.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say, even though I always say buy Tudor used, I don't know. For you, I know I only say that because most people I know flip in and out of watches so frequently that it just makes sense. But for someone like you, who is a thoughtful collector who buys to keep for the most part, I don't know. And you also don't really have an authorized dealer relationship, like you said. So, because you haven't bought from one in such a long time. So, yeah, maybe you won't feel so bad about going there and wasting their time. And by the way, every time I go to an authorized dealer, I feel like the sales associates are so bored. They like keep talking to you and showing you stuff. My buddy John and I went to the Omega authorized dealer the last time we were there. I mean, the guy spent forever with us, just showing us Mont Blanc watches and IWC and Omega and stuff. It's like, man, we couldn't feel like we couldn't escape him if we tried.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when I walked in, they only have two brands, Tudor and Rolex. The Rolex was busy. The Tudor guy was at the door waiting for the next customer to walk in. And so he walked over with me. As soon as we were done talking, he went back to standing by the door and waiting for another customer,
Wow.
you know?
Clinical.
So, and not to mention the Rolex was mobbed. I mean, it was on the weekend, but
Yeah.
you definitely don't get as much interest on the Tudor side for sure.
I remember when I went to pick up my Air King, I drove 5 hours to New Jersey to get it. And so she took very good care of me because I made the drive. And I remember being in the like secret room they have there where she was like getting it sized or whatever. And I remember somebody coming and asking about the possibility of getting a Rolex, just like came in and asked. And her response was she was trying to be nice, but I was thinking like, oh, this poor son of a gun has no chance.
Yeah, I could go on kind of a rant right now, but I'll say that we've been going long enough.
Yeah. So I know we could delve into a bunch of situations. But yeah, so I think we can pretty much end there. So I think it's definitely advantageous, like we said, to buy used. It has its pros. It also has its cons. I think just being careful about where you buy used is a big thing. Like we said, a lot of these secondary dealers do not disclose if they've refinished a watch. They won't tell you a lot of things. I mean, I bought a 1988 Oyster Quartz from Bob's Watches. Not afraid to say it. I wasn't super impressed, but obviously the bracelet and case had been refinished. Who knows how many times? That was a 1988 watch, but underneath the underside of the bracelet had not been touched. So you could really see like, okay, this is what this watch would actually look like.
Yeah. I mean, Bob's Watches, David SW, every watch they have is pristine. Obviously, it's
no matter how
finished.
old it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, there were some things on that Oyster Quartz. Like it had the brand new crystal with like the little, I won't say crown hologram, whatever you call that little crown. So that's a service dial. Obviously did not say that. I found that out by bringing it to my watchmaker. He just wanted to see it. And he's like, oh, yeah, they got a brand new crystal on here. I was like, oh, darn. I didn't know that. But it makes sense. I mean, that's an older watch.
Right.
But yeah, it's kind of disheartening for somebody like me who does not want a watch to be retouched at all, to know that if you're buying one from, Nashville Watch, Bob's Watches, whatever it might be, chances are if it's not unworn, they're at least just kind of making it look nice, giving it a little touch up, little paint job. So yeah, kind of a bummer.
At the same time, when I'm looking for pre-owned watches, I'm not going to someone on eBay with 5 reviews. I like the hundreds or thousands of reviews. Like that's the kind of stuff I look for. Or I go for, like a Topper, someone, not that I've ever bought from Toppers, but as an example, like, a dealer I trust, I'm not buying from Facebook Marketplace like some others.
Oh God, yeah. Well, I will always say good things about Topper. I have a personal relationship. I've just bought watches from them and I'm friends with them. But man, it's a great experience. If you have any issues, they'll work with you. The prices are usually fair and they're pretty honest about the condition. And like we said, a watch that's rated at 95% is probably more like a 99%. They really underpromise on that.
Yeah.
I bought a lot of pre-owned watches from there, and I don't think I've ever gotten one and thought, oh, this is more of an 84%, not an 89%. No, it's always, always much better condition than you think it's going to be. So yeah, they're a great source. Many of us now are in watch discords and Slack groups and everything like that. And a lot of times, I know in the TGN Slack, they take selling very seriously, and they actually have a spreadsheet where you can rate the seller. and just
Interesting.
give some feedback. So you can go on that spreadsheet and like, I know somebody gave me a good score on there when I sold them a watch. So I'm on there as trustful, and you can like little details like shipped promptly, good communication, packaged it well, all that stuff you can write in the notes. So that's good. If you're on a group like that, that might be a thing to suggest even, if there's a lot of people buying and selling on there, like, yeah, let's give some feedback. All right. Well, I think that's it. Anything else to add?
No, I think I'm good.
Wow. We only went like an hour and 5 minutes here. That's pretty good. Have you been, we'll finish up with maybe some TV show talk. Have you been watching the new seasons of The Pitt and Shrinking?
I haven't started Shrinking yet, but I am watching The Pitt. And
Okay.
to me, like The Pitt's just as good as season 1.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I did fall asleep halfway through the last episode, so I need to go back and watch it before the current one. But that's not a shock. I usually fall asleep during stuff. And yeah, we've watched the first 2 episodes of Shrinking so far. So
Yeah, I gotta get on Shrinking. Right now watching Traders. That's okay. Traders season 4, and had to watch Heated Rivalry. It's the big talk of this year.
I have not watched it. I have not watched it. Marissa has not either, but she really wants to.
Yeah, I don't want to give anything away. I will say it started a bit slow for me, but they make it worth it at the end.
Okay.
Let's say that.
Okay.
But I don't want to say too much more.
Awesome. Well, all right. Well, again, Keith, keep us updated. Maybe if you finally, in like 2029, pull the trigger on a Black Bay 58, we'll have you back on.
Yeah, let's have the same conversation every year until I buy it. Who knows what could happen?
Well, I can't wait to hear again. Thank you, Keith, for taking the time on a weeknight. I appreciate it. And yes, we will have you back on in a couple of years when you buy your next watch.
Sounds good.
All right. And thank you so much for listening. You know how to reach out to the podcast at this point. Send me a message on Instagram. This gets released as a YouTube video. You can leave a comment on there, or you can send the podcast a text message. As I always say, I'm not being rude, but I can't text you back. And remember, sometimes you're the dog, sometimes you're the hydrant, but hey, at least you're outside. We'll catch you on the next episode of the Watch Dog Podcast. See you later.